There comes a moment in every life when the mirror turns into a battlefield. A quiet war. No bombs, no guns. Just you, staring back at you. And in that silence, a question echoes louder than any applause, louder than any failure. Are you building, or are you watching? Because this world is full of watchers, spectators, dreamers with their faces glued to someone else's highlight reel. People who study greatness like it's a distant planet, unreachable, untouchable, as if it was never meant for them. But the truth? Greatness is not inherited. It's not found. It's built, brick by unforgiving brick. And the ones who build, they're not always the smartest, not always the strongest, but they are the ones who made a decision to stop watching and start building. Edison didn't wait for the light to come to him. He burned through 10,000 failures to build it. Lincoln didn't wait for peace to descend. He carved it out of a nation at war with itself. Disney didn't sit back and hope for magic. He created it, out of nothing but a drawing board, a dream, and debt up to his ears. Stop watching, start building. This is how you win. But first, you must understand one thing. The enemy is comfort. Comfort is the silent killer. It wraps its arms around you like a friend, but it suffocates your potential. Comfort is the reason you're scrolling instead of scripting, talking instead of taking action, doubting instead of doing. If you want to build, you must make discomfort your companion, discipline your religion, and purpose your obsession. Every empire, internal or external, is built not on feelings, but on fundamentals. And it all begins in the battlefield of the mind. Because mindset isn't a cute word for Instagram. It's the cornerstone, the steel beam under the skyscraper. Your mindset is either your prison or your passport. When Carnegie was a poor immigrant, he didn't look around and say, "This is my limit." He looked inward and said, "This is my launch pad." When others saw poverty, he saw possibility. When others watched, he built. So ask yourself, what lens are you living through? Is it scarcity or strategy? Fear or faith? See, you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your mindset. If you believe you're average, you'll build average routines. If you believe you're a victim, you'll build walls, not bridges. But if you believe deeply, obsessively, irrationally, that you are here to do something extraordinary, you will start to build like it. You will stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop waiting for permission. Stop watching what they're doing. And start designing your own damn blueprint. Because belief is the first brick. It's what turned Henry Ford from a farm boy into a revolution. When the world told him it was impossible to make cars for the common man, he said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." And he was right. Your belief carves your reality like water carves stone, slowly, relentlessly, with every thought, every repetition. So build belief like it's your fortress. Then, get clear. Clarity is the architect of destiny. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack direction. They build scattered, aimless, throwing bricks in every direction and calling it progress. But you need a blueprint. Who are you becoming? Not what do you want. Not what do you envy. Who are you becoming? Define it, in detail. Like Da Vinci sketching a masterpiece. See the life, feel it. Smell the air of that future. Hear the applause of your future self whispering, "Keep going. You're almost there." Because without a clear vision, you'll be seduced by distractions disguised as opportunities. Without vision, you'll mistake movement for momentum, progress for purpose. But when you know who you're becoming, everything changes. Discipline becomes a duty, not a debate. Pain becomes a teacher, not a tragedy. Sacrifice becomes sacred. Because the builder, the real builder, doesn't chase dopamine. He chases legacy. He knows that every action is a vote for his future self. And once you have clarity, you ignite purpose. Purpose is the furnace. It's what turns struggle into power. The Wright brothers didn't have funding, didn't have approval, didn't have the right to believe they could fly. But purpose burned hotter than doubt. And that's the thing. Purpose doesn't ask for evidence. It becomes the evidence. When the storms hit, and they will, purpose is the anchor that keeps your hands on the hammer. When the critics mock, and they will, purpose is the fire that keeps the walls rising. When doubt screams louder than faith, purpose whispers louder than fear. But listen, purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a whisper in the dark saying, "Not yet." Don't stop. Keep building. Because nothing great is built in a moment, but everything great begins with one. The decision, the first brick, the one push-up, the one call, the one script, the one moment when you stop watching and start building. But purpose without discipline is just a daydream. So now, you must master discipline. Not the kind that comes from hype. Not the kind that needs applause. I'm talking about the kind of discipline that shows up when no one's clapping. The kind that builds in silence. Because the builder understands. The work is the reward. The gym at 5 a.m., the extra hour studying, the call when you're tired, the silence when you want noise, the strategy when you want comfort. Discipline is what separates the wishers from the winners. It's what forged Kobe, what molded Jordan, what carried Ali, and what will separate you from the millions still watching. Discipline isn't a feeling, it's a system. You don't negotiate with it, you obey it. And that's the truth most won't tell you. They'll sell you hacks, shortcuts, cheat codes. But you're not here for hacks. You're here for high ground. And that takes grind. So build the system. Wake up when you said you would. Do what you said you would. Build in the dark, so you can shine in the light. Because the builder understands something most will never grasp. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your standards. And your standards must be non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. That word is your edge. Most people live in the land of maybe. Maybe I'll work out. Maybe I'll focus. Maybe I'll start that business when I feel ready. But the builder, the real one, he lives in the land of must. And that's the difference between wishing and winning. You must raise your standards to the level of your destiny. Because life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you tolerate. If you tolerate excuses, you'll build a life full of them. If you tolerate distraction, you'll build chaos. If you tolerate average, you'll never touch greatness. But when you demand more from yourself every day, the world starts to shift. Opportunities start to align. People begin to notice. Not because you're lucky, but because you became undeniable. You built something. Inside. And that structure inside you, it becomes unshakable. You walk different when you've earned your confidence. You speak different when your word is law to yourself. You move different when your actions are in alignment with your destiny. Because you're not here to rent success. You're here to own it. And ownership doesn't come cheap. It costs time. It costs solitude. It costs failure. It costs the death of your old self. But you've got to ask yourself, are you here to look rich or become powerful? To impress strangers or inspire your future? To consume or create? Because builders create, and creators rule. This is not about trends. It's not about what's viral. It's about what's vital. Your mind is your capital. Your time is your currency. Your grind is your investment. And your future, your legacy, is your return. So build like your life depends on it. Because it does. And listen, there's going to be pain. There's going to be sacrifice. There's going to be long nights, setbacks, betrayal, loneliness. But every builder knows the pain is the tax you pay for purpose. You are trading temporary comfort for eternal pride, trading sleep for strength, trading Netflix for mastery, trading doubt for dominance. And while others call it suffering, you'll call it sacred. Because when you're building your future, every drop of sweat is sacred. Every tear is sacred. Every repetition, rejection, late night, lonely morning. It's all sacred. It's part of the process. And don't let anyone tell you different. This journey isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to break the weak parts of you. It's supposed to test your belief, your vision, your will. Because diamonds aren't found on the surface. They're pulled out of pressure, cut from pain, polished by time. And so are you. So if it hurts, good. If you're tired, good. If no one believes in you, even better. That means it's working. That means you're not watching anymore. You're building. And every builder knows the dream doesn't become real the day you see it. It becomes real the day you decide to become it. So decide, right now. Decide that the excuses die today. That your old story ends here. That average is a disease, and you are the cure. That your life will be the proof of what's possible. Because this is how you win. Not by shouting louder, but by working quieter. Not by watching others rise, but by becoming the one they watch. You build, you rise, you dominate, and you never stop. Because it's not about winning once. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't know how to lose. The world forgets the watchers, but it never forgets the builders. Because what you build outlasts you, and if you do it right, your mindset becomes immortal. Your voice echoes in generations you'll never meet. Your discipline becomes the blueprint for those who thought they were broken. Your fight becomes the reason someone else refuses to quit. That's what you're really building. Not a bank account, not an image, not just a business or a brand. You're building a legacy of belief, a structure that stands when motivation fades, a fortress of willpower when the storms come, a monument to the human spirit that says, I was here. I didn't fold. I didn't run. I didn't beg for the easy way out. I built my life with my own hands. You see, power doesn't come from being handed a crown. It comes from crawling through hell with vision in your eyes and fire in your chest, and never asking for permission to be great. And you are done waiting, done hoping, done scrolling, comparing, doubting, retreating. You are the storm now, the silence before the leap, the discipline behind the dream, the grit beneath the glory. So burn the plan B, starve the distractions, kill the weak voice inside you, and feed the one that says, keep going, because you didn't come this far to almost make it. You didn't sacrifice everything to end up average. You didn't suffer just to play it safe. You came to conquer. So conquer your morning. Conquer your habits. Conquer your emotions. Conquer your doubts. One brick, one representative, one moment at a time. Until your name means something. Until your work speaks before you do. Until the life you live becomes the proof that faith plus action equals domination. And when they ask how you did it, you won't point to luck. You won't point to privilege. You'll point to the grind they never saw. The nights you wanted to quit but didn't. The days you got mocked but moved forward. The times you built in silence while the world slept. Because builders don't need applause. They need purpose. They don't chase attention. They chase alignment. And when the work is done, when the dust settles, and the world finally takes notice, you won't be surprised, because you always knew. You knew you were different. You knew your dream was real. You knew this pain would birth power. You knew the struggle would become sacred. You just had to build through the doubt, through the darkness, through the fear. And you did. So now stand tall. Look back at the ruins of your past life. And look forward to the empire that rises from your discipline. This is your time, your story, your destiny. And no one's coming to save you. Because you were always the one. You were born to build it. So go, build it.